Well, welcome back to Envoy Medical's a channel pioneering one-of-a-kind, fully implanted devices for those suffering from hearing loss. Joining to give us full kind of corporate updates here on what's going on for milestones moving ahead, maybe some value mismatch on some things people might misunderstand about the company. But we have the privilege of Brent Lucas, the CEO, joining us. First and foremost, welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, I always love having you on. And I think the best value add that I wouldn't mind discussing here is when it comes to the insurance, because Esteem, one of your products, is already medically approved, but not covered by the insurance side. Do you want to talk about how you guys are approaching this and what the next steps might be?
Yeah, I think right now the market's really not factoring in the possibility that we're making a lot of good momentum with the insurance for the Esteem. So the Esteem is our first device. It's already FDA approved, so it's got FDA approval, but we do not yet have insurance reimbursement. So we've been working on that for the last several years. In July, we got CPT codes for that, Category 3 CPT codes. So we have the codes now. And now one of the last things that we're working on is getting Medicare to no longer call us a hearing aid because we're not a hearing aid. So we're trying to get that classification done. I was just in DC earlier this week having a meeting at CMS and again making our point that we are not a hearing aid, we are instead a hearing prosthetic. I think if that change were to happen, I think it would really unlock some amazing potential for Envoy Medical because that Esteem device has been FDA approved and sort of sitting there, but without insurance hasn't really been something that can move a lot of units. If we do get insurance coverage, it does become a commercially viable product, and that could happen as early as this year or early next.
Yeah, and I do want to point out that you're one of I think the only cochlear implant company that is creating jobs in Minnesota, correct? And maybe talk to the trial side of it. I know you guys are expanding quite a bit from that front as well. Maybe give us an idea of what's going on under the hood there.
So our other product is the Acclaim. That's a fully implanted cochlear implant. It's a breakthrough device. It received breakthrough device designation from the FDA in 2019. That device will, I believe, shift the paradigm in the cochlear implant space, which is already $1.5 billion in terms of global revenue, but actually has a TAM closer to 84 billion. So we believe that so we're in a pivotal trial now, and we believe we will be expanding that pivotal trial in the next couple of months. We've now gone through our for that first stage, we've gone through our first 10 patients for 3 months follow-up visit, and the data is appearing to look in a way that we should be able to justify expansion. So that news should come out from us in the next couple of months, hopefully, and we'll be able to go forward.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind talking to how unique of a device this is because it symbiotically can live with AirPods. I know a lot of people are talking about the Apple products kind of working as hearing aids, but you guys are, targeting a whole different problem, but you can actually utilize AirPods with this device, correct? You want to speak to that a bit as well?
Yeah, our device is incredibly different from anything else on the market because we use the ear to pick up sound. So we leverage the ear to pick up sound. So sound enters your ear, it vibrates your eardrum, and then there's these three tiny ossicle bones behind that called your ossicles. And we pick up the vibrations of the sound vibrations off those ossicles, I'm sorry. So that allows us then to use the ear essentially as nature's microphone. And we're the only company right now that has a device even close to this. Because your ear obviously is where AirPods and hearing aids and other consumer electronics are placed, with our device being sort of the foundational device, you can use an AirPod on top of it. So somebody who has severe to profound hearing loss who may want to benefit from some of these external consumer electronics will be able to do that with our device. They will not be able to do that with the competition because the competition uses a microphone that's either sitting behind the ear or implanted under the skin behind the ear. So it's not leveraging the ear. So it's very important for people to understand that we are different from anything else on the market currently because we use the ear to pick up sound. And that will allow, not only does it allow for invisible hearing and 24/7 hearing and all that good stuff, but it allows for the patients to have flexibility in how they want to use other devices such as AirPods.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate that insight. I think it was very clerical and maybe just shifting a little bit to maybe the underlying assets and balance sheet. I mean, you guys have been extinguishing your debt, correct? You want to just talk about cleaning up the balance sheet a bit?
Yeah, so a couple of weeks ago, we announced what I thought was incredibly exciting news, and I don't think the market's really quite priced it in, just how big of a deal it was. But we have extinguished all of our debt. So we had $32 million in debt and term loans and accrued interest, and we have extinguished all of that. So we no longer have any debt on our balance sheet. That is going to make it much more likely that when we do start to turn a corner and do start to grow, we're going to have some really good opportunities, as well as attracting much more, much healthier capital. So getting rid of that debt is obviously a huge help for us and will also allow us to use cash for the business instead of having to use cash to extinguish that debt in the future or cash to extinguish the interest payment. So I thought it was a huge moment. I think the market really didn't acknowledge it like it should have. I mean, let's just take a simple math problem, for example. We had about 30 million as our market cap. We had about 30 million in debt, and then we have 40 million in preferred shares. So if you put it together, our enterprise value the day before we extinguished that debt was about $100 million. And if you think about, okay, well, you took out the $30 million of debt, well, our enterprise value still should be $100 million. So I really don't think the market's really caught on yet. Maybe they don't just understand how big of a deal it was. But I believe eventually people are going to start to wake up and realize this was a hell of a thing for a company to be able to do and put our common shareholders in a much better position.
On that note, we'll pass it off to the viewers as always. We'd love to know what you think, but consider subscribing for news catalysts as it comes down the wire. Of course, we'll bring it to you here. But on that, as always, we look forward to catching you in the next one.